Hello, I would like to take my chance now with guessing that you're wearing some clothing right now. Am I right? If you do, or even if you don't have anything on right now, do you remember the price of any of your favorite clothes? If you don't, then you might look at the check if you have it saved somewhere. And remember, but I bet that you can get access to the data on how much damage has this cloth caused to our environment. Today I will share with you how to integrate a sustainable fashion into your life. As we humans evolved from animals to conscious beings, so has our clothes progressed from a practical asset to a social marker, affecting the way we perceive ourselves and others. In many cultures, dress sense displays one's aesthetic taste as well as personal wealth, and as the choice of clothing has become a tool for personal expression and or an indicator of social affiliation, the global market of retail sales of apparel and footwear peaked at $1.9 trillion in 2019 and is forecasted to worth 3.3 trillion in 2030. But simultaneously, the greenhouse emissions are also expected to grow by 50% from the 10% of global emissions that the industry has already produced in 2020. As we invest more energy in this industry, so it deals more irreversible damage to our environment and ultimately to our health. I have worked as an assistant manager in an eco-friendly clothing brand, Glorka, which utilizes second-hand fabrics, upcycling them, and employs non-working women who are socially less privileged than men in rural villages of India, teaching them how to sew and paying them salary. Having worked with Glorka for only half a year now, I have realized the importance of its values and ethical guidelines that it follows to benefit those less fortunate and trying to minimize fashion's toll on Mother Earth. I wear their clothing proudly, buy clothes at thrift shop, and also learn how to sew myself. I will begin by discussing fashion industry's negative impact on the environment, then I will discuss the steps that you can take to bring sustainable fashion into your life, and lastly, I will discuss the technical process of making sustainable choices. Let's begin by discussing fashion industry's effect on the environment. Fashion industry is the second largest carbon emitting industry in the world. This is a worrying statistic because now as a global citizens, we each have the responsibility to be a conscientious consumer and to not contribute to or ourselves do overexploit or pollute our environment whenever it's possible. Globalization means that your t-shirt and a pair of jeans, which according to sustain your style statistics, require 5,000 gallons of water to grow cotton from which they're made. And also 500 billion gallons of water, which is used for dyeing textiles, is usually discharged untreated into nearby bodies of water. The current fast fashion trend utilizes cheap clothing which is non-biodegradable. Now let's look at the ways to sustainably use clothing in your life. If you want to have if you want to bring sustainability into your life, then you should take the next steps to get rid of the stuff you don't need. Instead of increasing your closet space, you should make a deal with yourself to maintain or reduce your current wardrobe size. You can gift, donate, swap, or repurpose clothes that you don't wear and thus create space in your closet for something new. Buying second-hand clothing is a transparent path to ensuring that the resources do not go to waste, and this option can contribute even more to a good cause if you buy it through charity. Clothing swap parties are a great place to exchange a piece of clothing that doesn't serve you no longer and get a new one. If the clothing is worn out or just is no longer what it used to represent, it can be repurposed into the household items or be cut down for patchwork. Sustainable fashion requires us to reimagine our relationship to our clothing. We need to be able to live behind craving for new and more items and instead invest in fewer high quality pieces that are timeless. One of the reasons why it is important to buy clothes made from quality materials is so it will survive to be a vintage and so someone else could buy and use it instead of being discarded in clothing landfills. Choosing quality over quantity will save you a fair amount of money, bring greater awareness to itself, the piece, and its importance to the environment. Look for clothing which has a GOTS certification on it. According to the Wall Street Journal, of the more than 100 billion items of clothing produced each year, some 20% go unsold. This unsold clothing has a chance of being recycled, but not enough people are working to realize this. So if you're feeling cold, you can get yourself this unsold clothing and reimagine it. And finally, let's understand what is necessary to stay true to yourself in sustainable choices. To make conscious decisions about what you want to wear means always bringing attention to the details that so often go unnoticed. Such details could be the brand's guiding corporate values, source, and the materials used in the production of the clothes. In conclusion, we began by discussing fashion industry's negative effect on the environment. Then we discussed the steps that you can implement to use clothing sustainably. And finally, we talked about the technical process of sustainable choice. I hope that this guide helped you understand why integrating sustainable fashion into our lives is so vital for the environment. Thank you.